Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisance to you all. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with our Srimad Bhagavatam study of first canto, 18th chapter. And today's verse is 45. I'll just share my screen again. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining and giving your time and association for all of us. You can please take Maharaj. I'm sharing my screen again.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Adharya Dharmam Praviliyate Nirnam Banashramacharya Yutastrai Mayaha. Tathortha Kamma Binivesitatmamanam Sunam Kapinam Iva Varna Sankaraha. At that time, the people in general will fall systematically from the path of a progressive civilization in respect to the qualitative engagements of the caste and orders of society and the Vedic injunctions. Thus, they will be more attracted to economic development for sense gratification, and as a result, there will be an unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys. Report. It is foretold herein that in the absence of the monarchical regime, the general mass of people will be unwanted population like dogs and monkeys. As the monkeys are too sexually inclined and the dogs are shameless in sexual intercourse, the general mass of population born of illegitimate connection will systematically go astray from the Vedic ways of good manners and qualitative engagements in the castes and orders of life. The Vedic way of life is the progressive march of the civilization of the Aryans. The Aryans are progressive in Vedic civilization. The Vedic civilization's destiny is to go back to Godhead, back home. There is no birth, no death, no old age, and no disease. The Vedas direct everyone not to remain in the darkness of the material world, but to go towards the light of the spiritual kingdom far beyond the material sky. The qualitative caste system and the orders of life are scientifically planned by the Lord and his representatives, the great rishis. The perfect way of life gives all sort of instructions in things both material and spiritual. The Vedic way of life does not allow any man to be like monkeys and dogs. A degraded civilization of sense gratification and economic development is the byproduct of a godless or kingless government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The people should not therefore begrudge the poor administration they themselves elect. Chaksun militam yena tasmai shri gurve maha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadam Mayam Dadati Swam Padatitam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharne Nirvisesa Sunyavari Vastyatya Deva Satarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Praevacha Papitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam is complete in all aspects of human culture and also very complete in describing what is not human culture. Here we see what is being said here in this verse was said thousands and thousands of years ago, even before that. It's eternally statements. Because this Bhagavatam is not coming from the intelligence of the people in this world. It's coming from the great souls who are pure devotees, who are absorbed in pure devotional, loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and are fully equipped with all knowledge of all Shastras, and can explain and also predict the future. Well, here we have prophecy. It says economic development and sense gratification will be the result of the focus and the result of the fall of the Vedic monarchical system, which we're hearing in this particular discussion, how it all began and how you'll see how it transpires as you study and read more from the Vedic prophetic statements. These prophetic statements are not just speculations, they're factual realizations. Because there is a thing called Tri Kala Gyan. Tri means three, Kala means time, and Gyan means knowledge. And one who knows knowledge of past, present, and future. There are personalities who are equipped with such qualities that they can actually predict and understand the future. Actually, it's quite a simple way. Even an average person who has good intelligence can also predict the future. You study the past, you study what is happening in the present, and therefore you can see how things will plan out in the future if things go in the same way they're going. And we see here they are, and therefore these verses and the explanations are not speculations, but they're actually factual descriptions of a time that is now in the present, but what was being said many thousands and tens and thousands of years ago. So this knowledge is free from all faults. In the material world, every conditioned soul has four faults. And that is their senses are imperfect, and they derive knowledge from sense perception, but that knowledge is always limited and imperfect. They have a tendency, based on that imperfect knowledge, to be illusioned by that knowledge, and therefore they conclude what is not as what is, and vice versa. They have a tendency to make mistakes based on the illusionary understanding, based on their speculation due to imperfect knowledge, imperfect senses. And then to cover all of their inebrities, they have a tendency to cheat. Now, these four defects, imperfect senses, subject to illusion, makes mistakes, and cheats, is the character description of everyone in the material world. Therefore, you have to, if you want actual knowledge and perfect knowledge, you have to go to that source. And here we hear it from the Vedas. And the king of all Vedic knowledge is Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam is non-different than Krishna. When Krishna left the planet, he left himself in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. He empowered his devotee, Sukadeva Goswami, to speak this transcendental knowledge to the perfect recipient, Maharaj Parikshit, who heard that knowledge for 7 consecutive days. And due to the perfect receptivity of that knowledge and his ability to understand, he became fully self-realized, where he transcended all bodily symptoms, bodily natures, and came to the pure spiritual platform. And the sages at Namisharanya, they also, led by Sita Goswami and Sonika Reach, they also had the ability to see the future. And they organized this gathering of great sages to discuss what can we do to save the conditioned souls as Kali Yuga enters and eventually starts to take over the lives of the conditioned souls. So the sages were concerned. That is one of their characteristics. They're not simply satisfied with their own spiritual success or spiritual purity. They want to show compassion to the fallen conditioned souls by giving them the knowledge. So there was a great assembly of 88,000 sages at a place called Namisharanya. You can go, that place is still there. It's a very holy place. And there's, I forgot the name of the river, but there's a holy river right there that runs through Namisharanya. And it's a place, it says in the Shastras, that by performing sacrifices in the area of Namisaranya, it curtails the demonic influence in the world. It helps to eliminate it and curtail it and then eventually eliminate it. So it's such a powerful place for yajna. So they did this yajna discussion on the future of the world based on the advent of Kali Yuga and the fallen conditioned souls in Kali Yuga. Bhagavatam begins Manda Samanda Matyo Manya Bhagi Paditaha. Sabda Kalena, that the conditioned souls in this age are fraught with many kinds of defects. One, they're lazy when it comes to spiritual life. Two, they make so many mistakes. They try to do something and they get the opposite result. They're unlucky, and their minds are always agitated. Everyone in the material world is full of anxiety. Sometimes that anxiety becomes so full blown within the individual, it causes them actually to become sick, mentally sick. And then they have to go for some kind of treatment based on mind destruction. So the mind is an organ also. So this is the age of color. It's a very dangerous age, as the scriptures also use that word, it's dangerous age. So those who are a little bit intelligent and understand a little bit about the purpose of life should not waste time in trying to make a permanent solution to the problems in this material world. There is a permanent solution, and that permanent solution is to become fully self-realized and achieve perfection in life and then go back home, back to Godhead. And as it says here, the Vedic civilization's destiny is go back home, back to Godhead, not to have a nice material arrangements to enjoy whatever time one is destined to live on the surface of the earth in this particular body that they inhabit. That is not the purpose of life, nor will it give any real satisfaction to anyone. And so we see that because people don't follow any regulated lifestyle, nor do they are inclined to spiritual life, very much inclined to economic development, very much inclined to use the gains of economic development for sense gratification. You see that everywhere. You look around, they're building all of these skyscraper buildings with big, uh, uh, floors, 50, 60 floors high. The Empire State Building is 110 stories high, and they're building these other buildings in other parts of the world. What is the use? They just create congestion within the sky. Nobody can see the sky anymore because it's crowded with all of this steel and glass and metal. So it's and they're very enthusiastic to increase this way of life, and they think it'll give them more happiness and more enjoyment of the senses, which is the only goal for the conditioned souls. And here they are put on the same level as the animals. These two species of animals, monkeys and dogs, are mentioned in the verse as the level of consciousness that people are on. People are inclined to sense gratification in the form of sex life, to have as much sex life as you can. Nowadays, they create medicines so you can increase your sex life. For instance, there's agencies you can go to. They actually capture monkeys, and they kill the monkeys, and then they take the pituitary glands out of the monkeys. They sell it to the big people, and then they transplant these glands into these people through operations, simply so they can continue sex life even beyond the normal course of life's duration for sex life. I've seen advertisements on billboards, on highways in America, for people who are deficient in their sex life. They have all of these remedies and medicines to help you get back to your activities of sex life. And when Srila Prabhupada was talking about this, he talked about this quite extensively, and it's mentioned also in the Bhagavatam in many places. But people when Prabhupada would say, if you say, you know, no sex life, people will think, what is the purpose of life then? There's eating, sleeping, mating, and ultimately defending one's eating, sleeping, and mating are the four activities of the conditioned souls in this material world. And so they want to increase their quality of eating by eating in different ways. Now they have these restaurants where they're like, 50 stories into the sky. You take these big elevators and you go to a very high, and you eat in the sky. And you have these big glass windows, and you can look out, and you're on the same level or even higher than the birds are, and you're eating your slaughtered animal foods that they serve. And they think this is happiness, this is progress. But what is it? It's just eating. That's all it is. Whether you eat in the sky, or eat in the house, or whether you eat in, even the dogs eat, the animals eat, everybody eats. What's the big arrangement to make for eating? There was a story, Prabhupada tells one story from the Vedic scriptures about one man. He was a leper, and he was married. He had a beautiful wife, and he was attracted to this prostitute who was a very high-class prostitute. And he couldn't, actually, he wasn't a leper. That's another story. He was attracted to this lady who was a prostitute. And he wanted to have union with the prostitute. And so his wife understood, and she was a very chaste and faithful lady. So she went to the prostitute and started doing all kinds of service for the prostitute so she would accept her husband. And of course, the prostitute was thinking, wow, he has such a nice wife. So, but he was determined, and his wife wanted to help him. So the arrangement was made. So the prostitute decided to teach him a lesson. So he came, and she cooked for him. And when he came, she served him this meal, and she put the food in 3 different containers, or 3 different plates. She had a leaf plate, she had a wooden plate, and she had a golden plate. So she put the same food in 3 different places. And she served it like that. So he's looking and he's thinking, well, wow, she's giving me nice food, but it's the same food in 3 different plates. What is the reason? So he questioned her. And then she said, you have a nice wife, just go home. It's all the same. It's all the same. So she taught him a lesson, But people think, oh, yes, sex life in so many different ways. I have to get a nice bed, or I have to get drunk to really, there's so many ideas to improve, but sex life is sex life. It's what it is. It's just the animals do it even better than the human beings. The pigeon can have sex life 60 times within an hour. Humans can't even come close to that. But some people try. They take steroids, get monkey glands. This monkey gland thing is mentioned in the Bhagavatam in the 6th canto. You can read about it. Prabhupada includes it in the purport. And then, they pay. There was one man, he was very, very rich, extremely rich, and he would marry these young girls, and they would marry him for the money. and he had relationships with these young girls. And then he would give them up and give them a large sum of money and release them and get somebody else. And he would continue on like this in his old age, trying to enjoy these young girls. So, and after some time, the misuse of sex life, you become impotent. And that's what the advertising is nowadays. People who have been abusing this God-created facility for producing children to take it into an area of some kind of enjoyment, people become impotent. And they can't even engage in it anymore, even if they wanted to. So yeah. So this is material life, and they're considered to be on the levels of monkeys and dogs. So if you say no sex life, you're pretty much telling people, not to live, not to live. Why do people work so hard? Why do people try to get so much power position? It's all centered around enjoying sex life. That's it. And the material world is called Maitunya Agra. Maitunya Agra means the shackles of sex life. One who can break these shackles of sex life is free. If that is called the Adiras, or the most powerful force within the material world, and everyone goes for that as the ultimate goal of happiness. And people who cannot enjoy it for whatever reasons are miserable. They're more miserable than people who are trying to enjoy it. And there's always people who don't have it and want it, and there's people who have it, and though they have it, they don't want it. There's Prabhupada talks about delika ladu, delika. Delhi means, the place in India called Delhi. So it's called delika ladu. It's a fictitious thing. Delika ladu it's something that when you taste it, you like it, but after a while you don't like it. And if you don't have it, you always want it. So it says that those who don't have sex life, they want it. And those who have it, after some time, they get tired of it. At least many people. Because they understand what is the actual happiness in sex life. Happiness in sex life is the idea of sex life. The actual act itself doesn't produce so much happiness as compared to the idea of enjoying sex life, which is the greater form of happiness, the anticipation. And that is material life. So they're living no more better than dogs, monkeys, hogs, camels, asses, as the Bhagavatam describes the present civilization, like that. But those who are a little bit intelligent and can understand that there is no happiness in sense gratification, they may have the chance to come in contact with the ultimate goal of life, which is the ultimate principle of happiness, and that is self-realization or God realization, Krishna consciousness. So one should strive for that and not try to make spend so much time trying to make a nice arrangement in this material world. Because whatever is arranged is disarranged by the force of time. Just like here we are in Dallas. So yesterday at 7:45, which is almost the same time we are now, I was giving a class, yesterday's class, and all of us, it was raining, and then I hear a crack, and it was a thunderbolt, lightning bolt, hit a house, which is about maybe 1 or 2 blocks away from where we are, really short distance. It was so loud when I heard it, I was wondering, wow, That's close. Later on, we saw this lightning bolt hit this house, and the whole house burned to the ground. It's finished, not to the ground, but the whole thing is burnt. It's destroyed completely, and then eventually it'll knock it down, whatever's left of it. All of a sudden, material life, you're going along, and all of a sudden your house is no longer there. You're going along, and something happens, and you get sick, you die, something. Material world is full of dangers. It's padam padayiva vipadam. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would use the example. He would say, material world is no place for a gentleman. In reference to the definition, he was saying that those who are actually intelligent and have good qualities, they understand this is not the place for happiness, not the place for longevity, not the place for livelihood. Where is that place? It exists beyond this material world, and it exists as our eternal home. So therefore, one should not waste time. It says, what does it say in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, second chapter? That one should use whatever they have to serve the Lord, purify themselves, practice the process of self-realization, and eventually attain to the eternal life. Everyone wants to live eternally, but no one can live eternally in this world. Even people think they can. Even the foolish materialists, they try to continue life. There was one famous playwright many years ago. His name was Walt Disney. We all heard about Walt Disney. He created these cartoons, famous for Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. It was a big thing back in the 60s, and people loved it. It was, they even have these theme parks that are centered around Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, big places in California and Florida. People spend a whole day in a cartoon world. And there was Mr. Walt Disney, who was the creator of this whole program. He was about to die, and so he wanted to find the secret of eternal life. So there was some agencies that you could pay, and they freeze your body, and when you die, so it doesn't deteriorate. And he gave them, large amounts of money. I don't know how much, but hundreds and thousands of dollars. And then they would inject the secret of life once it was discovered, the secret of longevity of life, into his body, and he would come back and continue his cartoon making. So these is the foolish plans of the conditioned souls. But there is a plan for eternal life, eternal happiness, and that is there within the Vedic tradition. If one wants eternal life, eternal happiness, free from suffering, and that knowledge, which is complete in relationship to the source of all knowledge, Supreme Lord Himself, then one should take up Krishna consciousness as the goal of life, and not just take it up in a casual way or in a routine way or in a less than regular way. One should practice Krishna consciousness every moment. And if the one does that, gradually they will come to the platform of anartha nivritti, taste the happiness of spiritual life, become attracted to Krishna, and ultimately develop love for Krishna. And then eventually, as time goes on, they'll qualify themselves to return to the spiritual world at the end of this body. So that's the goal of life. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Vedaistu jaham naham eva vedo, Vedanta Krid Veda Vid Eva Chaham. I created the Vedas. The Vedas are about knowing me. The Vedas are meant to, bring one to the platform of self-realization. Everything there in the Vedic culture. And it says here that the Vedas don't allow for anybody to become like monkeys and dogs. This is simply a product of a dysfunctional civilization that is geared in the wrong direction. Okay, so we'll stop there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. Such a wonderful class, reminding us again about this material world situation. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras if possible. Yes, Mataji. Sridevi Mataji. Please go.
Thank you, Shrimati. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you again for a wonderful lecture that reminds us of the importance of Krishna consciousness. As you were speaking, Gurudev, I was thinking that association of devotees, in the association of devotees, we can keep that goal always in the focus, because out of the association of devotees, it becomes very difficult to remember these things or focus on them, because the material energy is so strong. It just comes at you and you're just buffeted by those waves. So my thoughts were, as you were speaking, if devotees can come together and become a strong community to practice Krishna consciousness together, that will be very, very beneficial for everyone.
Yes, not only to worship together, but to live together. And live together also helps you to worship together. And living together makes life in this world, which is burdensome, in order to maintain oneself, much, much easier. So community is actually the culture of the human society, which was prominent for thousands of years. As Prabhupada makes the point, this industrial civilization, which really began in the 1600s, and now for the last 300 or 400 years, we have this false type of lifestyle called the nuclear family, where you have one husband, wife, two kids, and one little box. You stack the boxes high up in the sky, and you can't even get enough air. So yeah, it's a very soul-killing civilization, as Prabhupada would frequently mention. So community is actually the foundation for development in both material, the ease of material life, not to struggle so hard for the basic things, and spiritual practice, which gives one more time. So community, yeah. But we don't want to do it for some reason. We're so attached to our box in our own little area. But we're seeing as time goes on, just to maintain what you develop, it becomes harder and harder as society becomes more and more like monkeys and dogs. It becomes harder and harder to maintain it. And and Bhagavatam predicts it, as it predicts here. It says that people will be harassed so much by present governments that they will give up their hearth and home and just leave and go to the forest. It'll become so bad. There'll be no wheat, there'll be no sugar, there'll be no milk, high taxation, and high inflation also. So yeah, I mean, how long do we have to wait before we understand that this what is being said by those who see past, present, and future, not by somebody who's just making some speculation. Anyway, so, but the problem is people don't know how to transition or can't see the benefits that will come by way of transition. And therefore, they get stuck. Or they get stuck in seeing how to do it. But community is the way to do it. Develop relationships with other devotees and then bind those relationships, and not in just in a casual way, but we see each other as an opportunity for our own advancement in life. Each person helps another person with whatever they need. We've limited our help to the family structure, but ultimately, all living entities are a spiritual family. We want to create that environment where that spiritual aspect becomes the foundation for community.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. So yeah, nice point. Thank you.
Amritanam Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances of glory to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, recently I have visited some of the places. They are environmental friendly. Those projects by whoever has done those projects, they are not Krishna conscious, but they are taking some steps towards environmental friendly projects, and they're executing them. So when we talk that the base of Krishna consciousness is very essential, so they say that we are executing this project. What is the need there? So how do we explain them that the sustainability of this project or the base is itself Krishna consciousness?
Well, the base in material life is their goal, their project, their vision to create a kind of a similar. But as individuals, they're still brought by the four defects. And they will always find conflict and disagreement in the way they do things after some time. They may go on for some years, maybe even for longer, but because what is the foundation, this goal of better material life. The material life is also dualistic. Any kind of material happiness that you create, you also get some suffering in parallel to that happiness. So Krishna consciousness goes above all of the dualities of material life as the foundation for how we interact with each other. So when we have problems on the material level, we solve it with spiritual knowledge, spiritual problems, spiritual solutions. We give a class, it's called Material Problems, Spiritual Solutions. So if their projects were going to be so good, people have been trying these things from time immemorial, why are there so many problems in the world? It just shows it doesn't work in the long run. It may work in a short run. People get excited about these things and they work together. But then time takes away. The time changes things, people's attitudes towards the things. Everything changes. And Krishna consciousness has the foundation by which, when you are challenged, either by relationships or by the goal of the projects, you go to the higher level and see how we can please Krishna, keeping Krishna in the center in everything we do. So we follow the spiritual path, which is the path of using our energy, time, and resources for serving the Lord. And how we live is a byproduct of that, not the main thing. Our main thing is become Krishna conscious. And this lifestyle is conducive to help become Krishna consciousness, but that conducive lifestyle is not the goal. Krishna consciousness is eternal, everything else is temporary.
Thank you, Guru.
Say we have the solution to all problems. Why? Because the main problem is a lack of Krishna consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj gives he makes the prayer in the fifth canto in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He explains that he prays that people will give up their envy and start thinking of the welfare of each other. People think of the welfare of each other in a limited sphere within the family, maybe, or maybe even within the community to some degree. But beyond that, based on material arrangements, there are enemies and there are friends. It's limited. You can only go so far. But when you connect with each other on the spiritual platform, then we all have that same understanding. We're all spirit souls. We're all trying to affect our life in love of God. Therefore, we see each other. We see ourselves in each other. To see yourself in another person is to actually see yourself.
Thank you, Maharaj. This is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Manisha Mataji, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes, in my most humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, as you said in the lecture, there is so much urgency of Krishna consciousness day by day. Material duty, in my life, material duties are becoming more difficult to me. Not able to do as much service as I could when I joined the Krishna conscious movement, or maybe it's my excuse. What should I do?
So things are going down
Yes.
materially.
Yes, Maharaj.
But spiritually, how are things? Good?
Yeah, good, but I'm not able to do as more service. When I joined Krishna consciousness movement, I am willing to do, and I will do more services. But
Well, maybe you need support. You need community. You need less time trying to struggle with maintaining material life and more time for Krishna consciousness. Maybe a more simplified lifestyle. Even in India, I know you're in Indore. Even in India now, it's becoming like the West. Even in many places, even more complicated than Western culture. But that's moving away from the Vedic scheme and coming close again to a civilization of just hogs and dogs struggling for economic development and sense gratification, which is not the goal of life. The scriptures explain your material happiness and distress is already allotted to you according to your karma. That doesn't change. It only changes when you engage in devotional service. So we put a little bit of time and energy in our material life, just enough to maintain ourselves nicely. But we spend most of our time. And ultimately, the goal of life is to become self-realized, Krishna conscious. To worship Krishna, to serve Krishna, to associate with devotees who are doing the same thing. Susukam kartam avyayam. Ultimately, the process is joyful when it's performed in the right mood. Mhm.
Manisha is welcome to come to Mayapur and stay with me, Gurudev.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Mataji.
yeah. So you got an invitation. Sri Devi, she's very magnanimous. She likes to share everything with everyone. And she's got a nice house. I know, I've been there. It's part of a community too. But I wouldn't encourage you to leave indoor. I would say try to make a difference there. Indoor is, you know, it needs leadership. Because there's no leadership there, there's no development. Otherwise, there's so many nice devotees. Programs go on, but nothing really develops beyond the program level. Because there's no leadership, no qualified leadership. Because people are too busy with material life and they don't have time. That's all.
Actually, Maharaj, I don't get any association in law. Whenever programs,
Well, you got your friend here, Shakshi. She's online today. What happened to Shreya? Shreya's also. What happened to her? She used to be with you all the time.
yeah, she is with all of us, but she shift she shift in hometown recently.
She moved.
Yeah, in Shadol.
And you're
She
right.
moved.
I mean, you're living 1 hour from one of the holiest places in India, Ujjain. That's where the Kumbh Mela happens. It's a very holy place, sacred place. Just take advantage of what you have. But it starts with developing nice association with devotees, hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, and think of ways that you can serve. Something you would like to serve, offer some service to the devotees, to the communities, to the programs. When we're serving, we're not worrying so much about what we're getting. When we're not service, we're always thinking, what's in it for me, you know?
Yes, Maharaj. On Sunday, I was able to do Rajbhog Seva sometimes. I'm not initiated yet, but by the mercy.
See you in September.
Yes, thank you so much. And also, I wanted to share one thing with you. I saw a video last 2 days ago. In when you were in Dallas. It in this video, I saw that His Holiness Indradyuman Swami Maharaj loudly chant Gora, hey, and you also chant this. And
Oh,
also seeing your transcendental smile.
Maharaj has a certain enthusiastic mood of chanting. So, that's Krishna consciousness.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments? Maharaj, yeah, Amritanand Mataji.
Guru Maharaj, just a quick update. So Ruhan wanted to share something with you. He's taking part in a drama. Last month also he took part. It was first time for him, and he's so excited about it. This month he's taking part in the Ramayan drama, and wanted to share.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I participated.
Tell me what you're doing.
I was making the arrows for the drum.
Wow,
He was making props for the drama.
good. These dramas are real life. This is the real life. The material world is the drama. What you're doing is life.
So I got the role of Lakshman. I'm not qualified for it, but still I got it. So kindly shower your blessings on me so that I can do justice to the role.
Good, good. I'll wait till you finish and I'll see the drama.
I'll send you the pictures, Guru Maharaj.
Good.
He's super fond of Ramayan. He's very fond of Ramayan. He just gets involved in Ramayan.
Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavana Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram.
Sitaram Jaya Sitaram. Bhajman Pyare Sitaram.
Jai, what is it? Jai Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Lakshman, Hanuman. Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Lakshman, Hanuman. Shri Rama Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. I love the Ramayana myself. And this year, when Ram Navami came, I started to read the whole Ramayana. Wonderful.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Good, good.
All-
Make sure you learn how to shoot arrows because Lakshman is an expert. You can't miss the target. Make sure you get your arrow.
He is this kid, Guru Maharaj. He's playing a part where Nindra Devi comes to Lakshman, and Nindra Devi says that it's my duty to give you the sleep. So the Lakshman sends Nindra Devi to Urmila, that I take a vow, I'm not going to sleep for 14 years. So that is the part in which he's playing.
So Ramila was the one that went to sleep. Okay. Sounds exciting. Yay.
Yeah.
All the best
So
to the drama.
he's quite interested in dramas. So with your mercy, I think he'll play well and he'll take part in future dramas as well.
Devotees should do dramas in every temple every Sunday for the Sunday feast. We used to do that. And it really attracts people, these dramas. Prabhupada liked them so much that he actually told the original drama troupe, which they were called the Vaikuntha Players, to travel with him and do dramas, and he would preach and they would do dramas. Prabhupada liked dramas. And I've seen people become devotees simply by seeing a drama. They said this is what I want to get into. And they actually start becoming active in Krishna consciousness just after coming in contact with a nice drama. You can say, check Bhakti Marg Swami, he's doing dramas all the time.
Sure. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Last month he took part in the Narsimha Dev's drama.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to any more questions, comments?
Yes, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any more questions? Yeah, Manisha Mataji, you have one more question.
I just want to share one thing. I saw a video on internet where you did Narsam Leela with Janivas Prabhu in Pune Yatra. I saw that video. Uh, you did Narsam Leela with hands before Janivas Prabhu. So many years.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Janani Raj Pankaj Jangi. Who else was there? Gorvani. Yeah, that was 2007 in Pune. That's a nice video. I have the whole video. Janani Bas played the part of Nishringadev. Gorvani played the part of Rani Kashipu.
It's nice video.
That was fun. That was at the end of a kirtan. The kirtan went on for over an hour, and then we ended with that drama. That little play act it was. This is culture. Acting out Krishna's pastimes. Instead of going to see some movie about some guy who kills somebody's wife and the police are chasing him, you know. It's like the mundane world, they come up with all of these crazy things. They try to make them, what they call it, sensational. There was one person, one devotee, he went to see one of these, what they call sensational videos, movies. And then they asked him after, well, what was it like? What was it about? And he said, I don't remember anything, but it was really sensational. The sensation is overtakes the actual the theme of the whole presentation. What do they call it? Special effects. It's another form of mind control. That's not what this is. To dazzle the mind with all kinds of special effects, they call it. There's no culture. It's like we were in we went to Sadhu Sangha, so we stayed in a hotel that was arranged for us. And I noticed on the wall, there were pictures on the wall, but the pictures were, I couldn't figure it out. It looked like somebody passed stool and threw it onto a canvas, and then it dried, and then that was considered art, you know. I'm serious. That's the way I was seeing it. And then there was other things. There was 3 pictures. It had no people in the pictures. It was just some. It just looked, man, maybe a chicken danced across the neck, but before stepping into a pot of, different color ink. So modern art is just like it's somebody's regurgitation. That's all. It's terrible. It's not even art. So this is the quality of a frustrated society when sense gratification becomes, after a while, people get tired of it and they just become more and more degraded in the ways they try to find happiness through sense gratification. It becomes ridiculous. And then when it comes really bad, then people become violent just to express sense gratification, their desire for sense gratification. They lose all sense of civility and they start causing harm to others in the name of enjoying sense gratification. This is how materialistic civilization extends itself. It goes down, 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 until eventually it crashes.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I just have a comment to make that we have this laid back mentality where we don't take things seriously. So as you were mentioning about the fire accident here happened yesterday. So we think that it's not our house, it's their house. Nothing will happen to us. So if it happens, we'll see. So like that, we don't take things seriously. Very much. So I just want to think. I'm thinking in that direction that how much serious we should be in taking up Krishna conscious.
When it comes to material dangers, we should all know that they're always around. But we should know that we can be free from them if we fully take shelter of Krishna.
Mm,
Krishna protects his devotees, especially Lord Nrsimhadev, in the form of preventing catastrophes for devotees. Sometimes devotees undergo some suffering, but a devotee never has the same experience that the non-devotees have. Even if they lose something, because they don't really value material things, they put their value in devotional activities, they're always back to normal again after some difficulty that may happen.
mm.
Here, Krishna protects his devotees, especially in the form of Nrsimhadev. He's geared to give protection against dangers in this material world. But where do the non-devotees try to protect themselves from danger? They try to fortify their life with various types of things that they think can give them protection. Bigger houses, guns, a lot of money. They take help from things that can't give protection. We take help from Krishna.
Yeah. Yes, Maharaj. And one more point I liked it is to come out of this sense gratification and all material excitement or whatever happening around us, it's better to live simply and come out of these cities. So if you're in these big cities, all the time, wherever you see, it's all sense gratification. So that's why even devotees, they get easily trapped in these things sometimes. So yeah, nowadays I'm feeling strongly that to come out of these cities is the best solution, and going into simple life, to focus more on Krishna consciousness.
Come to Mayapur, Srimati. We'll start a farm community.
They got something going here in Dallas, which is just beginning.
Yes.
Another area. So we just bring devotees together in a community type organization, work together to develop a more simple lifestyle. All you need to do is cooperation, and you need to understand that the importance of such things, because it's the foundation for the practice of Krishna consciousness. When we're starting to practice Krishna consciousness and also live a material life at the same time, we marginalize both our time and our energy. And therefore, a lot of times we don't have time for spiritual life.
Mm.
What do the karmis, what do? They go to bed really late and they get up really late. The devotees get up early and chant the holy name and worship. They begin their day fully focused on serving the Lord and glorifying the Lord.
Yes. Yeah.
But if we live in such a complicated and very, what we say, dutiful lifestyle, we don't have any time. And when we give some time, it's not so much. If you want Krishna consciousness to work, it has to be 24/7.
Mm.
That's how it works.
Yes, Guru. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any last minute questions or comments? Okay, Maharaj, I don't see any questions now.
Mars Harry.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, it's such a verse number.
Sri Devi, did you get my message I sent you?
Yes, Gurudev, I did get your message and I'm just waiting for Guru Bhakti to scan the pages and send me. Perhaps she needs to hear that from you because I don't seem to be, getting across to her. If you could just write a line to say, can you please scan and send to Sri Devi, that would help.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, dear devotees, tomorrow's class is with Harrisburg devotees, and the verse number is 2nd canto, 1st chapter, verse number 33.
33?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. 2:133. And we are going to join at the same time. 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, and 1 p.m. UK time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your time and association. Such a nice class. Thank you, devotees, for participating. See you all tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay!
Hare Krishna.